I've just cut open these two oil filters because I've done an oil change recently on my 97 Defender with over 200,000 miles, and I wanted to check the condition of the filter to see if there's anything nefarious going on inside. And I don't think there is. I can't see any particles trapped in the filter in here. But I thought it was worth doing a comparison because these two Mahle oil filters, this one was made in Austria and this one was made in China. So this is from my UK-based 1997 300 TDI Defender. This Mahle oil filter is OC261, made in Austria. I fitted this just over 12 months ago. It's got 3,400 miles on it. This one is OC236, made in China, and this is from my Defender that I bought in Armenia. So this, still being Mahle, it's not exactly the same model. It's a bit shorter than the standard or the recommended oil filter for a 300 TDI, even though it does actually fit. I brought it all the way back as part of my journey. I brought all the oil, sample of oil back, and I've tested that. I'll talk about it in another video. But also I wanted to cut open the oil filter. This one had probably been in for either between 1,500 and potentially 3,500 miles, and there's nothing in here that there's no debris or anything that I can see in the filter, so all good on that front. So now I'm going to have a look at the two differences between the filters, just some things I've spotted. And I don't think it's all, there's obviously a common rhetoric there, which is, manufacturing is outsourced to China, it's therefore worse. I don't have any particular skin in the game, or neither am I particularly qualified to talk about the engineering, but I'm just going to highlight some of the things that I can see from the differences. They're not exactly the same application, but they did basically fit the same engine. First difference is the holes. It's still 8 holes, but these ones are more narrowly spaced, and the China-made one is more widely spaced. I guess that means that the depth of material, the depth of filter medium, is thicker here, so you need to have the holes more inboard. Looking on the inside, nothing much to report on. They feel about the same weight, similar weight. They both got valves, so this valve sits up against the top here, and I guess that's to stop oil leaking back from it. They both do have a rubbery valve on the top. This one in Austria is a bit meatier. This Chinese one's just a bit sort of flimsier. It's not quite as thick around the ridge here. It's a bit flappier. That's a very subjective definition, I know. Well, it's still about as flappy, but the central core is sort of firmer and rigid, more rigid in the Austrian one. On the underside, there's a check valve, so that basically bypasses the filter if there's a blockage. In the Austrian-made one, it's quite a bit larger than on the Chinese-made one. I guess that means there's less pressure to put this one, to push this one, because there's a greater surface area. I don't really know what that means. They're about the same pressure. That's obviously very unscientific. When it comes to the filter medium itself, this one's a lot more, the Austrian made one's a lot more consistent. It also had this papery band around it out there. I assume that's to stop it completely blowing out potentially. The Chinese made one a bit more inconsistent in terms of the spacing, and it does have this metal spacer along the top here. The ridge is a bit bent from me cutting this open. I think the filter medium in this one is definitely deeper than this one, although maybe that's got something to do with the type of model. What's very clear is though this filter medium, this paper, is very smooth. It's actually quite thin. This is a lot more fibrous. You can see how this is torn with me cutting it and trying to remove it. It's a lot more fibrous, it's thicker. So whether that has an impact on flow or filtering ability, I don't know. You may find that there's more concertinas in this one than the other side. And on the underside, they both did have a spring. That's that spring there. That's it, that spring there. So that keeps the pushing on the body to push the check valve up to seal around the top here. This Austrian one is a thicker gauge. It's got less coils. It's only got one coil really. This one in China, a thinner gauge. It's got 2 more coils in it. very similar. This has obviously got more travel by having more wind. The inner metal construction on this one's got 3 bands of, well no, 4 bands of 2 rows of holes there. Chinese made one's got less spacing on the holes, but more consistent potentially, and got some reinforcing helical ridges for rigidity. Here's just an up close look at the filter paper that came out. This is my 300 TDI with 200,000 miles. Can't really see, there's no debris that I can speak of. I know in engines that completely grenade themselves, and you do end up with a lot of white metal showing here, but there's no specks or flakes, which is a good sign. My Defender from Armenia, it was a fleet vehicle, so I do know that it would have had a lot of oil changes. It's got around about half the amount of miles as the other one, but there's likewise no detritus found in the filter, so it's always just heartening to see, which is why I brought it back 3,000 miles. Anyway, I thought that was worth making a video about while I had these things open. I tend to buy Mahle all the time. Actually, this is my last one. I bought these in 2023, around about June 23. Supposedly someone had told me that they've moved all the production to China these days, but I'll be checking it out when I get the new batch. Between the same kind of brand of products and line of products built in different countries, I would say the quality is very similar. The filter medium is probably the bit that seems the most different. Anyway, thanks for watching. Bye for now.